feel like over the last couple weeks, every time I go to like my rambly part of the video, I'm like, nothing exciting has happened. And then this last weekend happened and I was like, I could make a whole video about this. Last weekend was the weirdest I've had in a long time, so we're gonna talk about it. But also, if I look like a mess, it's because I still feel hungover from Saturday. It's Tuesday. So hey y'all, I am back, and these are just weird stories that have happened to me that involve men. I'm also gonna need to get permission because there's more people in the story than just me, but I'm gonna hopefully film this video and they're gonna let me. It was my friend's birthday. It was her birthday weekend. Her birthday is actually tomorrow, Wednesday, but it was her birthday weekend, the weekend we were celebrating, and we went to this place on Friday. It was like a country bar, and we were meeting up with a bunch of like my friends, and then we went out Saturday as well. That was like the actual plan for her birthday. We went to a comedy club and then we went out afterwards. It was not real. Going out Friday wasn't weird. Nothing super strange happened. I went out with a group of people that I only knew a couple of them, and so, but it was like a huge group. They did like a party bus. And so I met a lot of people. It was fun. I wasn't drinking that much because we were drinking Saturday, so I didn't really want to drink 2 nights in a row. I was drinking, but not like heavily. Nothing super weird happened that night. Like, weird things happened, but not like incredibly weird. We were out, obviously something's gonna happen. But Saturday is when I was like, nothing is real, nothing exists. This bitch on the back of the plane is not real. Just gonna warn you, I tell you too many details. If you've ever watched a storytime video from me before, I tell you everything. So we're gonna start from the beginning of Saturday. Saturday, my friend was coming into town from California for my other friend's birthday. And so me and my sister got to the comedy club early because my friend wasn't gonna be there in time for the birthday girl to like reserve all these tables. So we're like there at the comedy club super early, reserved all these tables, got food, drinks, whatever. So I'm starting fairly early drinking. I started drinking at like 6. Everyone ends up getting to the comedy club. That is a whole story in itself. I feel like comedy clubs are risky because it's either so funny or so terrible. And we had gone to the same comedy club, I don't know, months ago, and it was the least funny thing we had ever experienced. Like, we were sitting there shocked at how unfunny, and it wasn't like unfunny, like controversial or like too far, like bad jokes, like offensive jokes. It was just like not, it was objectively not funny. So going back this time, we were a little nervous because we were like, wait, last time was such a flop. Like, is this gonna be better? And the friend whose birthday it was, she has gone a bunch of times. She said she always laughs at least like 2 of the set. There's like 4 people who perform. So she was like, and like it plus the host, so I guess 5. She was like, I always think it's funny. Like, there's at least like 1 person who's funny, so I think it'll be good, whatever. So we were giving it a chance, and it was, okay. There were 2 women and 2 men, and then the host was a man. The men, I don't know what they were on. It was not funny. Everything they said, I was like, wait, this is like, go to therapy. Like, one of the guys was joking about strangling his child. I was like, wait, this is like not funny. But the women, hilarious, loved them. Loved them. At the comedy club, I probably had 4 beers. I was feeling good, whatever. And then after that, we wanted to go out, but we were going out in this like strip of like, it's not really like a place to go out. The only place is a swinger bar, and everyone there is old, and we are not that old. So we went there just to like see what it was like. I've been there before, but only during the day because it was a weird time. So we go there, and immediately when we walk in, we're like, what is happening? And that's really the only place that's like a club or bar. It's not even a club, it's a bar that you can go to there. The rest are like restaurants that kind of like turn into bars after a certain time, which ended up being really fun. But we go to this place. I'm not gonna tell you the name because I feel like that's weird. We went to this place, we go inside, we go up to the bar to get drinks, and this man, I am not kidding, Williams, calm down. This man is like, and I'm not exaggerating, 70. He's 70 years old. Doing this to me over and over again. Like, if you're going to like check me out once or twice is fine. I'm gonna get it, and I could see him. I was looking at him. So then my friend is like, what the fuck? Like, out loud, because she's so confrontational, which I love. I think it's so funny, and it's like good, like you should be. I wish I was more vocal about that kind of stuff. There's a motorcycle. I wish I was more vocal, because when I'm uncomfortable, Weems, you're gonna need to not do that. When I'm uncomfortable, I typically just walk away. I don't say anything, but like I need to start saying, oh my god, I just remembered something else that happened to this night. This night was not real. The 7-year-old man is checking me out. My friend goes, what are you doing? Like, what, stop. And he keeps going, will not take his eyes off of me. And at this point I turn away from him because I was so weirded out, but that's also like not comfortable. Like I wasn't comfortable because then he's like looking at my backside. Eventually we turn to the bar to get drinks, and because like the people who were in front of us left, and my friend goes and stands in between us because he's standing at the bar and I'm like right next to him. So she comes and she goes in between us and he goes to her and she goes, what are you expecting to happen? He's clearly not interested, but like he kept doing this for so long, still, even after all of this. So we get our drinks and we go as far away from him as possible. And we're there for probably like 45 minutes, I want to say. And then we end up going to this other place like across the street, which was a restaurant that turned into a bar after like 11 or something. I don't know. We get drinks, we're sitting outside, and this guy comes up to us who is like with his friend. Hey, Weems, not right now. Well, I had to steal Weems' toy and I feel really bad, but whatever. We sit at a table outside with like everyone who was left in our group, and this guy is smoking a cigarette, and I have a very, I like a good drunk cigarette. We were sitting outside, but they were like outside of the restaurant bar because you can't smoke in there. So we like turned around because we're sitting right next to the exit, and we're like, oh my gosh, do you mind if we have one? The guy who gave us the cigarettes was older, so was his friend, but he was very nice. I was about to say he was very nice. We left the restaurant, we smoked a cigarette with him, we talked to him for a little bit. Very nice guy, very respectful, just gave us a cigarette and left us alone. His friend, the way I wanted to call the police on this man, but I couldn't because he didn't technically do anything. He was just weird. I went and I sat at the bar to order a drink, and my friend's other friend was sitting at the bar, so I was like talking to him, and the guy taps me on the shoulder. He goes, is that your boyfriend? I was like, no. And then I like turned away from him because I was like in the middle of a conversation. Also like, what? Like, you're weird as hell. You're like 75. No, he was probably like 50 something. But I was like, okay, that was a weird question. And so then at one point, this is so embarrassing. I was really drunk. I was showing him a guy on Instagram. Whatever, I'm not gonna go into too much detail. I was showing him a guy on Instagram, and I was holding my phone like this, like I was like doing this, like showing him, and the weird guy was like, stop taking pictures of me. And so I turned my phone around to have just like a photo of a man on my screen, and he goes, that's her boyfriend. It's not, but he goes, that's her boyfriend. And so the guy gets like really weird about it, and I was like, what? But then he was like trying to get me to take a shot that he already had. Like, he had it in his possession for I don't know how long, and I was like, no, I don't do shots. I don't want a shot, whatever. And he kept asking, like, would you take this shot? Would you take this shot? And I'm like, no, I'm not taking any drinks from you, one. And I don't take shots. Like, I'm not a shot girly. I can't do them. I will spit it out. Weird situation. And then we go back and sit outside, and he's out there smoking another cigarette, but this time with someone else, not the nice guy who like gave us a cigarette. And I'm standing there, and he looks at me and he goes, hike up your skirt. Do you have any more tattoos? And my friend goes, that was so fucking weird. The one who's confrontational, she goes, that was so weird. He goes, I'm just asking. He goes, do you have any right here too? The way my jaw dropped. And she goes, yeah, you need to get the fuck away from us. You're so disrespectful. And he was like, it was just a question. And then he like goes inside, and I did not speak to him again. I don't even think he tried, but I was like, that is so weird. Do not treat women don't treat anyone like that. God, I was like, what is going through your mind? Especially when I have a boyfriend. Leave me alone. So it's around 12:30, and we're still at the same place, and I really, whenever I get drunk, there's one bar in particular I love going to, but it was like 30 minutes away. So I was like telling my friend, I was like, we should go here. And she was like, wait, I'm down. Like, she's never been there before because she's visiting. And I was like, this is my favorite bar. Like, I really want to go, even though it's 12:30, the bar is closed at 2. So we tell my friend whose birthday it was, we were like, hey, do you care if we go? And she was like, no, not at all. Like, you guys have been here for like 6 or 7 hours. You go ahead, whatever. We Uber it's over 30 minutes, so we get there at 1 a.m. We have an hour left. We go inside, and it was like a fever dream. The whole night was weird as fuck, but like getting there, I was hammered. And I was like, why are we here? How did we end up here? So this is where shit like really starts to go down for the night. We're walking around just like taking a lap, trying to find men, and this guy comes up to us. I don't remember how exactly it happened. He comes up to us, and I think he's talking to us for like a second, just like, you know, whatever. We were like he was not it. So we were just like kind of like, hi, whatever. And then we were about to walk away, and my friend like laughs, and he puts his finger in her mouth and goes, you have such nice teeth, and like rubs her teeth, and she goes, yeah, don't do that. She said that was weird. And he was like, it was a compliment. She's like, don't put your nasty, grimy fingers in my mouth. So obviously we walk away from him at that point, and then we're still like looking around, scoping it out, and she sees a guy that she thinks is cute. So we go up to him and his friends. I'm like not looking for anyone, but I was like, I'm just like, I'm here, wingman. So we go up to these guys. There's like two of them at a table. So she goes up to the one she finds attractive. I'm just like talking to the other guy like very casually, and the weird finger guy comes up to the table, and my friend is like literally explaining what he just did to like his friend. Like we didn't know they were friends with him. And so she's explaining it to him, and they're both of them, because I was explaining it to him, she was explaining it to him, because I like could see that she was explaining it. He's like, what are they talking about? So I was like telling the same story, and they were both like, wait, that's so weird. And then he like walks up, and we're like, wait, that's him. That's him. He comes up there, and all of a sudden this guy comes up, pissed, fuming, turns finger guy around and goes, the way you fucking talk to women, if you ever come up to my table with me and my friends and talk to me and my friends ever again, I will curb stomp you. And I was like standing next to him, and so as soon as I heard that, I like turned to his other friend. I was like, oh my god. And we both like looked at each other like, I was like, that's your friend? He goes, well, it's kind of like a friend of a friend, but I think he was just saying that because he felt embarrassed to be associated with him at that time. They're like going at it. Not okay, finger guy is more so like trying to be calm and like, it's okay, man, which was probably just pissing the guy off more. So I turn around like, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes later, and the guy's like being held back by all of his friends. Like he's about to beat the shit out of this man, and I'm just standing there. I like wasn't even phased. Like I knew what was happening, but like normally if like I was coherent, I would have left. I would have walked away. I would have been like, hey, we have to go. Like this is not good. But I was just standing there like, if he gets jumped, he gets jumped. Hopefully they don't hit me. So then this bartender server, she comes up and she was like, what is going on? You need to go. To like finger guy. Not even the guy who's threatening to jump him. So I'm assuming she knew like what had happened prior, because if he was being weird towards my friend, like, and this guy is threatening to jump him, I can't even imagine what he was saying to like this guy's friends. So she comes up and she's like, you need to stop, you're leaving right now. She brought security, and I know this bartender. I don't know if she's she's a bartender. I know her because I go there so often. And so she's like kicking this guy out, then she turns and she goes, oh my god, hi, and we like hug. It was so weird. I was like, yeah, that guy's a fucking creep. She's like, I know. And then I told her what he did to my friend, and she was like, yeah, he's gone, like he's done. So then the guys we're talking to who are like friends with him don't leave with the guy who got kicked out. They keep staying there. And then their other friend comes up and is like, hey, so-and-so just got kicked out, we have to go. And they were like, oh, like we don't want to leave. And he's like, no, you guys, we have to go. So they were friends. So they obviously end up leaving. But when we had first arrived at this bar, I saw some friends. And they were like talking to girls, so I was trying not to interrupt. So as soon as those guys left that we were like talking to that my friend was interested in, we noticed that my friends weren't talking to those girls anymore, so we like went up to them, and then we ended up going back to their place to like drink more. We get back to their place and they're like, oh wait, we don't even have alcohol. And then something like weird happened there too, but I don't really want to get into it because it's like my friend's friend. It's just like, it doesn't matter. And he was weird as fuck too, very creepy, but I'm not going to go into detail about it just for their like, I don't know, just to be like respectful with their friend. But we ended up leaving. We got home around 4 a.m. and I was like, we were just out for 12 hours almost. Like, what is happening? And if you've made it this far, now you get the juiciest story of all time that I have wanted to tell you guys for so long, but I have been so afraid to talk about it because I'm like genuinely scared of this person. Not like scared they're gonna do anything, I'm scared they're gonna like reach out to me because I'm sure they fucking watch my shit still. Like, they were weird as hell. But that was like my whole weekend story. I feel like I jumped into this really fast. That was my whole weekend story. It was interesting, strange, and scary, and what the fuck, and I don't know, but now this is like that times a billion. I met this guy on, I don't know, like Hinge, something, probably one of the dating apps, and we met up like, I don't even remember honestly, because like this was so insignificant to my life. We probably met up like that same week that we matched, and we got drinks. We like we got dinner and then we got drinks, and we got pretty drunk at when we got drinks. Just happened, and we were there for a while. Like, I would say like for a first date it was pretty good. Like, and I honestly all my first dates go pretty well because I think I'm like a very easy person to like talk to, and I like to tell stories and whatever, so there's like always something to say. And my sister was like, yeah, the reason your first dates go so well is because like you're cool, and I was like, true. But anyway, so it was a good first date. Something like happened in it though, which I'm gonna tell you about, and this is like, I know that I was wrong in this, but I was also like really uncomfortable and nervous, and there's a giant truck. At one point in the night when we were at the bar after we had gone to dinner, my date went to the bathroom, and this guy who was sitting next to us, who we had like made conversation with like together, when he went to the bathroom, he leans over to me, he goes, something about your boyfriend. And I was like, oh, this is like he's not my boyfriend. I was like, this is actually a first date. And he was like, oh, I wouldn't even know. I was like, yeah, because I'm the coolest. I was like, yeah. And he was like, how's it going? I was like, pretty good, like whatever. And then he comes back, totally innocent. And then, I don't know, an hour or two later, he goes to the bathroom again. The same guy leans over and he's like, hey, how's it going? I was like, good. I was like, as far as first dates go, it's going really well. I was like, it's whatever. And he was like, I was wondering if I could take you out. And I was like, it's weird. Like, why would you, what? Like, I'm on a date. Like, that's so weird to ask. And so I went, I was like, I only really like to like talk to one person at a time, or like really like see one person at a time. And so I said no, but like in a nice way. And he goes, well, if like things don't work out. And I was like, I was so uncomfortable, and I was like drunk. It was so awkward. And also this guy was like not it, but I didn't really know what to do. And like he was with his friend, and I felt so uncomfortable that I was like, sure. So I gave him my number, and when my date walked out, he was like saving my number, so he saw it, and I felt so bad. Like, I was like, that's like not what it looks like at all. So as soon as those guys left the bar, I told him exactly what happened. I was so honest, because I'm sure he was like wondering too. So, but I was gonna tell him regardless of if he saw it or not, like what had happened. So I explained it to him. I was like, I was really uncomfortable. It was really awkward. I'd already said no. He asked again, whatever. He was like, yeah, I was wondering what that was, but like, I get it. It's totally fine. End of story. I thought. The next day he texted me so upset. I was like, dude, we've met once. Like, it's also not that deep. I get it was like a shitty thing to do, but it also was like, it wasn't because I was like attracted to him. It's not like I hit on him. It wasn't like that. And so like my friends always give me a hard time. Well, my guy friends give me a hard time. Like, you're so dumb. Like, just say no. And I was like, you know, like women literally get murdered for telling men no. Do you know, like, it's uncomfortable, and I was drunk. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I don't know this man. It was weird, and he was sitting next to me. Like, if I would have said no, it would have been so awkward. And then he ended up texting me, and I never replied because I said no. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. It's like, I don't have to defend myself that hard, but at the same time, I feel like I do, because it just wasn't like that. So then we hung out maybe one more time. Yeah, I think we hung out one more time. After that, and it was like he came over to my apartment, and which don't do that. He came over to my apartment, and we just like watched a movie or something. And keep in mind, we didn't hook up, nothing. I think we kissed at the end of this night, but that was it. And then the real drama begins. Well, not the real drama, but like the real shit starts going down, where I was like, wait, you're like insane. We ended up going out. So this is the third time we're hanging out. The reason I like emphasize this was like the second time. The last time we hung out was because this is where like it's real. We go out with my friends, and we go to my favorite bar, and we get dinner at one point because we were like day drinking, and then we got dinner and then like went back out. While we're at dinner, this man looks at me and goes, I love you. And I was like, what? I was like, wait, no, actually, what the fuck did you just say? And he goes, I don't know why I said that. I was like, oh, I was like, it's okay, like, we're drunk, like, whatever. I didn't want him to feel awkward, but like it was weird. So I go to the bathroom right after he says like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I was like, it's fine. I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. So I bring my friend and I told her what he had just said because I didn't know if she heard it because she was across the table, and it was just 4 of us. So I left my friend's boyfriend alone with him, and while we're gone, he's telling my friend's boyfriend like, this is the one, like I really like her, man, all this stuff. And this is the first time I had met my friend's boyfriend too, and he goes, yeah, okay. So he thought we were dating. And he didn't know this was like the 3rd time we'd met each other. And he's like, yeah, okay, cool. And he was like sober, so he's like, what the fuck? Like when he found out that this is the 3rd time I'd met this man, he was like, oh my God. He was like, wait, this is crazy. So we come back from the bathroom and then we end up going out. He comes over and we don't even do anything. Like we don't even hook up that night. Like we go straight to bed. And then we hung out, I think 2 more times after that. Cause I don't know, whenever I start seeing someone, I'm like, I don't want to start over, so I'll just like keep hanging out with them. But also I like tried not to think too hard into the I love you, but okay. So hung out 2 more times and then I ended things. I was so anxious about it, but I was like, yeah, I don't like this guy, and I feel bad because he had mentioned to me like he wants a relationship with me on like the 4th time hanging out, and I was like, and he was like, I really like you, and I like didn't say anything. He's like, I wish you would say it back, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, it was obvious I didn't like him, but I think he was like really hoping that like he could make me like him. I don't know. And I ended things, and it went fine at first. Like I was like, just like, I don't want what you want, basically, and I don't want to waste your time. And he was cool with it. At the beginning, he was like, yeah, totally get it. I kind of saw this coming. And then asked me like a question. I didn't respond because answering the question was so unnecessary. And then the next day maybe, or a couple days later, he texted me like, did I do something wrong? And I know I should have told him like, you were just coming on too strong, but I feel bad because there's going to be someone who like likes that, I guess, or like someone who's like as into him as he is to them. I don't know. So I just said like, no, like I said, just don't want what you want. Well, I guess I kind of said that because I was like, I don't want what you want right now, like not ready for that. But then he knew, because this was in February, like around February, he knew for my birthday, because I had told him about it, we were going to my favorite bar, and he went that same night. Me and my friend, who was visiting from out of town, were doing a lap around the bar, and we ran right into him. It was the most uncomfortable experience of my life because this man was near tears. We stopped, I said hi because I couldn't just walk past him. That would be so fucking awkward. So I was like, hi, like how are you? And he was like, happy birthday. And then we like talked, and then he was talking to my friend as if I wasn't standing right there and couldn't hear everything he was saying. He was like, I really liked her and this and that and like all this stuff, whatever. And my friend is like, okay, I think we're gonna go. And so we walked away. I get the longest, meanest text at like 3 or 4 a.m. and I was still awake because it was my birthday and we were just like all hanging out at this Airbnb I got. I get the longest, meanest text ever. Basically, it said something along the lines of, you are bored and you use men for attention and you're a terrible person. And I was like, just because I don't like you doesn't mean I was using you for attention. Like, this is how dating goes. Like, you date people and you find out within the first couple dates if you like them or not. That's literally, and I ended things. Like, it's not, I was like, what? And then at the very end, he's like, happy birthday, you crazy cat lady. I'm like, are you trying to like, I was like, you were just like so mean to me. And then I didn't respond because I was like, you don't deserve a response anyways. And also, what am I gonna say? I'm not gonna sit here and try to defend myself to you. I don't know you. So he texts me the next morning, wow, you really don't care. Have a good fucking life, or something like that. And I was like, no shit. Also, you texted me at 4 a.m. Chances are I was asleep. And then you texted me at like 9 a.m. Chances are I'm asleep. Like, I was like, you're weird. And then a couple days later, I get another text, something along the lines, like, I honestly don't even remember. There was probably more too, but these are the ones I remember. But he said something like, how do you get to know someone like that and just like don't care? And I was like, dude, I didn't tell you anything I wouldn't tell a stranger at a bar. I am an open fucking book. I tell everyone everything. So I was like, I didn't tell him anything that I wouldn't tell anyone. Like, it's not like we got super deep, like anything like that. And so I didn't respond because this was weird at this point. And then I get a DM, I don't know how many weeks later on Instagram. It's super long. I don't even open it, but I can see the preview. And the preview was hilarious because it was like, I still think about you every day, but I think I'm getting over it. And this was like months after. Like we had hung out for 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, 5 weeks, maybe. No, we knew each other for 3 weeks. Months later, you're still thinking about me every day? There's no way. Like there's no way. And he's like, but I'm also getting over it. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense, but you do you. And I haven't heard from him since that message. He ended up unsending it, thank God, but I was never gonna open it. Dude, that was that made me not want to date for a long time, but I did. So those are my crazy little stories from the last, I don't even know how long, because that was February, so my crazy story from last weekend in February. I am sweating my balls off because I have to turn my air off to film, so I am going to go. I'm so sweaty right now. It's like unbelievable because I've been talking for so long. I just want to say really quickly, if you are dating, like doing the online dating stuff, just please be careful. Don't invite people over to your place until you know them, until you know that you like them. There's no reason this man should have been in my apartment the second time we met, and I know that sometimes I'm really stupid with that stuff because I think like, oh, we like got to know each other really well the first date, so it's fine. It's like not fine. I was scared for a while that he was gonna like show up at my apartment because he knew where I lived, and that's just like, no one should have to like live in fear like that. But I'm gonna go. Obviously there's no rambling at the end of this because I just rambled for 40 fucking minutes, but I love you guys so much. I will see you in the next one. Weems is back to playing with his toy even though I literally took it away. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. See ya.